I'm Jonathan, and I'll be taking you through integration we have between the user management tool and the Community Health Worker Registry, the CHWR. Yeah, so I thought I could begin with a simple intro about what the user management tool is for the folks that may have forgotten or have no idea what this particular tool is. Yeah, so the user management tool, UMT, I'll be using UMT a lot, just so you don't get lost. It's basically just a simple web app, and it's very configurable, just like the CHT. And its main purpose is to improve or make user management a non-technical thing. So as we scale up these systems across, for example, in Uganda, across the country, there was need to decentralize user management. That means taking it to the non-technical folks down at the district level and so on and so forth. So this tool particularly brings features that things that you would normally do with the CHT Conf and maybe the admin panel in the CHT, and makes them user-friendly for the non-technical people. And then I'll talk about the core functionalities of this. So currently, you can create users, and by users that means the places and the user credentials. Now, this can be done one at a time, or it can also be done in bulk. There are other features such as replacing users, reassigning users, moving users between places, merging places, and deleting users or places. And then finally, creating users from an external system as a source. And this is the main one that we'll be discussing in today's presentation. And I've put a link there for anyone interested in getting started with it in our GitHub repo, to our GitHub repo. Next slides, please. Yeah, so now talking about the CHWR integration. So as we, like I've mentioned, as we are scaling up, decentralizing user management, there was also need to be able to get these user managers, regional user managers, to be able to create users through the worker registry. And sorry, one of the asks we had was to find a way to be able to get these user managers to create users from the registry into ITIS. So this particular features focuses, I know when you hear CHWR integration, you might think a lot of things, but for the functionality that's going to be demonstrated here is the initial one. We hope to build on top of that, which is pulling records from the registry and being able to use those records to create accounts in which is the CHT. Yeah. So this functionality is built on the UMT feature, which allows a project to use another system as a source of community health worker data. So the feature itself goes beyond just the registry. It can be configured to do way more than the registry. It's not tied to like a registry, any type of registry. So the prerequisite is essentially if you have a system with an API that you can query, that is, you pass in a bunch of parameters and get back a bunch of data. So the feature allows you to configure it and map the results that the API returns onto data points that are expected in the CHT, in your CHT instance, to create users and respective places. Yeah. Yeah, so this is also a step forward to making the registry here in Uganda to be the authoritative single source of truth for health worker information. There's also work going on at site. So we're just aligning with the future of what all this is going to become. Yeah, I'll proceed to do a demo of this. I can share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yep, looks good. We see your browser.
All right. Yeah, so great. So for anyone who has never encountered or played around with the UMT, this is what it looks like. So basically, this is the landing page, and the landing page is the staging area. So basically, if you're adding a bunch of places, users, and so on, so forth, they will get here where you can review and check for errors in the data you have imported. So with that said, I'll jump into this particular integration. So this is configured to create a VHT area. And again, you can configure this to create whatever place and users you have uh, as they are configured in your own CHT instance. So under this page, you can see you can either do this manually where you fill in a bunch of stuff in this form, in this creation form, or at the top, there's a drop down where you can have a bunch of options, the external sources where you can pull data from. So in my configuration, I only have one, which is the Community Health Worker Registry. You could have multiple. So you could have one and another, they will just show up here. And as you're creating, you can select, for this case, I'll select the only one that I have. So from here, I can be able to search through my registry. For example, I'll say the district is Kampala. I'll say the health facility is that. And I can say the search for that. So this is currently connected to a dummy server I created on my local host. So as you can see, when I query, it returns a bunch of results. I found 2 results, and you can click. They have details. This is again. This is all configurable stuff. You can decide what you want to pick and what you want to leave out from what your own API returns. Yeah, and from there you can be able to add. So I can add this. So you can add multiple, and again I can add. For this, I only had 2, so both have been added. So you can either go back and search for more, or you can say done and then return to the staging area. I'll just go to done. Yeah. So as you can see that our information, our data has been imported into the staging area, and you can see it's good data. Nothing is showing up in red. If anything is bad, it would show up in red here. So after this, I can be able to just upload these and upload that, and I've successfully pulled records from the worker registry and created the respective user accounts in my dev instance. Yeah, I'll wind up with that. I'll hand it over to you, Ashley. Or if there are any questions, I'm happy to respond to, or comments and feedback. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. Does anyone have any questions about the UMT and the integration to the CHWR?
Thanks, Jonathan. Quick one. I know within the user management tool, you might be able to move CHWs or supervisors across different catchment area. So if you make those updates within the user management tool, do those changes also get pushed to the CHW registry?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think we've encountered that a lot. And right now, currently, it doesn't. And reason being is the design was essential, at least for the implementation here in Uganda, was that data flows in one direction, that is for the registry, and it trickles down to which is the CHT. So as we keep on improving the integration itself, whether it's through the UMT or other means, an action of that kind ideally should first happen in the registry, and then each CHT can pull the changes and act accordingly. I don't know what others think about that. Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. I have a question for the two areas that you imported. I see there's a VHT name. So I assume that gave a user to, for example, John and Jane. Did they also get a password sent to them? How do they log into the CHT?
Yeah, so the passwords are generated. There is a big button here. They're not sent to them directly because it's very hard to have a direct communication with the CHWs. But the person responsible for creating these can download them, pressing that button, and it downloads them in a zip file. And again, there's this history section where you can also save, and they will be downloaded in a CSV file. Yeah, like this. So these are the two users of creating. Jen, that password, and then yeah.
Then the administrator is responsible for disseminating the
Sure.
passwords, however, yeah, in the training
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay, great. All right. Any other questions for Jonathan before we move on to the next topic? Thanks again for showing off the user management tool and the integration.